Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talking Television Podcast with Jay and Chris. Tonight we're talking about Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 4. This is called The Last of the Starks. And tonight, while we're talking about this, we are drinking a new bottle. You want to tell us what this is?
Yeah, this one I actually got from a membership club that I'm part of. It's called Son of a Pete Batch 2. It's a limited production. I think they only made or bottled 2,000 bottles. It's Son of a Pete, and it's very smoky.
Extremely. The first sip I took, it tasted like I just had a bite of a campfire.
Yes.
So I want to read the side of this bottle to you guys because I've only had one other bottle that had a similar type story to it. And that was something not a lot of other people like. So the fact that this one has such a long story on the side here. So it says, Son of a Pete. Born the son of a peat digger, his loved ones dead, gone forever. What happened in the wake of the events remains murky and shrouded in mystery. But now, fueled by peat, he fights back. His creations, much like himself, are dark, heavy, intense, yet they're laced with gentle memories of his childhood. And it just keeps going on and on and on, all about this guy fighting back against people that murdered his family, and all that to tell us what the flavor of the whiskey is.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, very interesting.
Yeah, I would say go check it out, but I don't know if there's any more available to buy. So
The other bottle that had a similar story was Yukon Jack, which is the black sheep of Canadian whiskey. So, not enjoyed by many, but I've had a lot of good and bad nights drinking.
Same here.
Okay, so let's get into this episode. Last week we predicted that this one would probably give us some regrouping time, and I think that's exactly what we got.
Yep, it kind of picked up where we expected it. You know, they were collecting the dead, getting them ready for, their proper burial or burning, if you will, because you don't want to bury anybody anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
They've kind of learned that lesson.
And that's probably the best logistical way to get rid of all these bodies is burn them.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That way they're not going to rot and come back to kill you at some point.
So I also want to apologize for my awful pronunciation of Arya last week. I think I was a couple deep into the whiskey. And
Ira? Yeah, Arya.
So.
This is the hero of Winterfell.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, she definitely is the new savior for everybody up there. So yeah, it picked up everybody. It was really a solemn, somber start to the episode. They had created these pyres. They had all their dead lined up. Each person took their turn going up and kind of giving their last few moments with them, and then they just lit them all up, and that was that.
Yeah, and it looked like Theon got a House Stark, pin on him before
from Sansa.
Mm-hmm. So that was kind of a nice little memorable moment.
Yeah, he atoned for his prior sins to the Starks. But after that, it pretty quickly switches into a dinner.
Yeah, a big feast. And everybody is kind of on edge. They don't know what to do, what to say. And I think the moment that breaks it and kind of switches it into high gear, Gendry, he kind of gets up and is going to go to walk out to look for Arya because he got a taste of Arya last episode, and I think he wants another taste of Arya. Yeah.
But Dany, she stops him and, in front of everybody, busts him out as being, a Baratheon, and almost says, don't hide from it anymore. You're going to be, Lord Baratheon, or I'm going to make that known so you're not a bastard anymore, which was unexpected. And obviously he liked it, and everybody started to party and kind of broke the atmosphere.
Yeah, I expected this dinner scene to be just, a quick scene or two, but it went on for a really long time, and we got a lot of character moments in there. But I think one of the biggest was a turning point for Dany, seeing everybody congratulating Jon Snow and saying, "Oh, you'd make a great king again," and yada yada. And you could see she was scared she's losing her power or influence,
especially with the North folk. That's where Jon's from. That's all his comrades. They know him. They trust him. He's a battle hardened veteran now, and yeah, she noticed. I don't know if this is going to work out. And a little later, she kind of pleads with him.
Yeah, she begs him actually.
Because at that time, there's only a couple people that know his true lineage and that they're related and his, real claim to the throne. So she pleads with him like, hey,
don't tell anybody else.
If I didn't know, this would be a great night. And you could tell everybody else doesn't know and they're enjoying it. So let's keep this kind of status quo and, don't go shooting your mouth off about who you are.
Yeah, and he pretty much told her no. Like, yeah, I have to tell my family and everything. So he does, and it starts making its way around through everybody.
Yeah, he kind of swears his sisters to secrecy. Hey, I got something to tell you. Actually, he makes Bran do it. At least Bran's doing something.
He did something for once.
And yeah, the small circle, slowly gets bigger and bigger. And yeah, Tyrion finds out, who tells Varys, and so on and so forth. And now the scheming and plotting is going on.
So, we like talking about some of the logistics of this, and we mentioned during the episode we would love to see Bran just getting, wheeled around, because he appears places, and whoever was pushing him, seems to leave the scene and go off camera.
I can't see Sansa or Arya pushing
through the snow.
Through the snow to the God's tree all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where's that guy that's kind of wheeling him around?
Yeah, I really want to see that.
Yeah, Hodor used to be that guy, but no more Hodor.
Yeah, hasn't been Hodor for a little while now.
So, after the big feast, the big party, then the preparations start to set in for, all right, we won the Great War, now we got to
win the last war.
Win the last war, as Dany says. So they start prepping for that, coming up with their battle plan on who's going to go where and do what. Yeah,
one of the biggest thing I saw a lot of references back to the first season, or even the first episode, throughout this episode. So it's kind of a reflection episode of how all the characters have grown, or what they've turned into from what they were, kids or, wives or whatever back then. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of an interesting point. But actually, before they get out and start scheming and planning, pretty much everybody starts fucking. Everybody's got somebody they got their eye on.
Yeah.
So Jaime and Brienne finally get busy.
Yeah, they're playing a little game of, drinking game, kind of going around, trying to call each other out and stuff they done or haven't done. And it comes up to Brienne about, Tyrion busts her out. I think you're a virgin. I don't think you've had been with anybody. And she storms off to her room. And then Tormund, he sees that and he tries to jump in there.
Yeah.
But Jaime, he gets off and kind of follows her, and Tyrion just kind of pours Tormund's glass a little fuller, and that's the end of that. But yeah, Jaime and Brienne.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I gotta make a comment here about this whiskey. It is very smoky.
It is.
So you remember in I Love You Man where he gets kissed by the other guy at the restaurant. He comes home and he keeps brushing his teeth, and she's like, "Why do you smell so smoky?" I feel like that's how my mouth is going to be for the next day or so.
Yep, like a campfire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, it's kind of almost like the Highland Park Magnus we had a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Very similar. So we saw somebody try and hook up and got turned down, and that was Sansa with the Hound, which is a very strange connection. But she tried hooking up, and he basically said, "No, I'm not interested. Go away." And then actually,
the Hound is kind of his mind's somewhere else. He's actually thinking about Arya, and they meet up a little later in the episode too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they go riding off together, but basically saying we don't expect to come back. We've got a mission to go on.
Yep, on the way to King's Landing.
Mm-hmm. But we didn't see them there later, so I don't know where they wound up.
I think they're going to show up. I think they're going to be fighting the type of battle. The only way to actually win this battle, obviously, Dany with her, now she's down to one dragon, but that's not the way to win this.
She has the worst war tactics ever.
Yeah, we should talk. We're going to talk about that a little bit. The battle tactics that.
Well, let's get started. We already talked about it in the last episode, where the dragons were flying close to the ground and almost got taken out, and then she landed one on the fucking battlefield.
Yeah, and it just became a snack for all the
White Walkers. They charged with the Dothraki straight ahead at the dead, and does nobody have any tactics? It's very strange.
She's very reactionary too. Things go down, against the plan, and then she just kind of storms off and makes things worse. So yeah, this episode, after they assemble, the plan is for the army to start marching south, and then she flies with the ships, and they're gonna meet the Greyjoy fleet.
And the
And
dragons were looking a little better, a little healthier.
a little healthier, and then out of nowhere, which was a little frustrating to me, the one dragon gets shot 3 times.
Yeah, twice through the heart and once through the neck.
Yeah, and it just takes nose ball right into the water. But first off, where did those shots come from, and how accurate could they have been?
Yeah.
That rapidly, that was a little iffy. But even if you figure they could have gotten the upper hand and they snuck it in there, she goes head first right into the fleet.
Yeah, and
which all of them have crossbows. They're all trained directly at her.
Mm-hmm.
All she had to do was fly around to the side or the back.
Yeah, just take them all out.
And you could have wiped out the entire fleet.
But
no, she turns around and heads away.
Yeah, so they kill a dragon, and they actually end up using these crossbows, which I never saw those get made because I missed season 7. But they start shooting at the ships, basically like what you would do with a cannon, and just destroying the ships. We see everybody, trying to swim to shore. And what were they thinking? They could have had the opportunity to, finish off the Unsullied and all them too.
Yeah, everybody that got
the whole
off the
Iron
ships
Fleet,
made it to the shore, except for Miss Sandy. She got captured. But yeah, they kind of just
turned around and went home.
Went back to King's Landing and left them there.
Makes no sense.
So that...
So
I
my
know
big
it's
problem
building up to the big battle, but still.
My big problem with the dragon getting shot was those are your prime resource. Like, really the only realm of power that they have. Why didn't they have scout ships out ahead? Like, those should not be the front line. For reasons just like this. They should be back and protected. I just shaking my head.
A little frustrating.
Very. I mean, war's not perfect. Nobody has perfect, execution on everything, but I was just like rolling my eyes and shaking my head.
And even at the end of the episode where they're, at the gate of King's Landing and the, party comes out to meet with the Hand of the Queen and the dragon's just chilling out right behind them. All Cersei, had to do is just tell her crossbows that she's got lined across the whole wall to fire, take out that dragon, and then what do you got?
There's only like 50 troops with Dany there. Like, they could have taken them out easily. But no, she decided to let them leave. What the fuck was she thinking?
Yeah. So, Miss Sandy is standing right next to Cersei.
Mm-hmm.
The talks don't go well. Tyrion actually blows past the Hand. He goes up and has to talk to Cersei directly, try and resolve this. Talk her down off the ledge, hey, let's save all the people. And she has nothing to do with that. She's obviously dead set on killing them.
Yep.
So she walks up to Miss Sandy, who's standing right there at the ledge, and, basically says, hey, you got any last words? I'm about to kill you. In that moment, all she could have done is grab her and jump off the wall and kill Cersei. If you know you're going to die, there's nothing that's...
Or at least got her on the ground where the other troops could have ran up and, captured her.
But she just kept standing there. And
she paid the price.
She did pay the price.
Yeah, I really thought she was going to get pushed over the edge, but maybe that's not tall enough. Maybe she wouldn't have died, so I think cutting her head off was...
They had the mountain do it.
Yep.
And the mountain finished her off. That's kind of where... We thought this episode was going to end last week. It was going to start off with rebuilding, mourning, then planning for the last war. And yeah, they got to the point where they're at the doorstep of King's Landing. And
speaking of that,
the teaser didn't show anything
of
what's going to happen. But
it didn't show much.
It's about to go down.
But at King's Landing, Cersei had a good idea for tactics and said, hey, leave the front gate open. Let thousands of people come in and be there. So if they decide to attack, they're going to have to kill all of them first, which is what Dany's always said she's trying to prevent, right? She's trying to free people, not kill the innocent.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting tactic.
Yep, and Cersei knows it. She's willing to sacrifice their lives for her betterment, to make sure that she, stays alive and keeps power.
Mm-hmm.
But I think by killing Miss Sandy in front of her, Dany's kind of pissed, and she might just She might just take her up there and have the dragon go to town on him.
I think Arya will end up sneaking in and maybe taking her out. Who knows?
So Jaime's heading back to King's Landing on his own.
Yep.
We've got the Hound and Arya that are heading back on their own. So they've got to play some role in this. We all know that Arya's the best fighter, and stealthiest fighter, out there. So I can see her coming in and possibly wearing a face of somebody that Cersei might trust or know,
Right.
and taking her out that way.
I also wonder how did Dany get down to King's Landing so fast, because we saw a whole bunch of people leave before her, and they took the ships, but then they got marooned on the island or wherever they were at, and somehow they ended up down at King's Landing together with armor again and all sorts of stuff. So
Yeah, the time frame doesn't quite add up.
yeah,
They didn't specify, like, hey, some time has passed now. They just made it seem like they got there
yeah,
really
But
quick.
if they got there, where's everybody else? Like, I don't know. Maybe we'll see next episode. Maybe they're
Yeah, I think they showed that the cavalry, the army had, with Jon Snow, had arrived. So we know that everybody, I think, that's going to be there is probably at the castle right now.
So my favorite part of the whole episode was the short and tall jokes.
Yes.
We heard a couple of them throughout the episode, and I thought they were well timed, very well acted.
Yeah, in fact, breaking that up, Tyrion was giving Jaime some flack about being with Bran. I was like, hey, I get to use some tall jokes now. And that actually is when Bran shows up with the crossbow and kind of gives him an ultimatum, like, hey, I've got a price for your head right now. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, and they make a pretty big offer to give him a city.
Yeah, Highgarden.
I mean, worst case, they all die and he doesn't get it, or maybe they win the war and okay, who cares?
But he's a true mercenary. He's got some history with Tyrion, obviously, and Tyrion always told him, like, hey, if anybody pays you to kill me, I'll double it. So
That's a smart move.
He's trying to cash in on that. So yeah, he's a true mercenary. He's going where the money's at. But he's letting them know, hey, I'm here. Don't forget about me.
So since we didn't see a lot of preview for the next episode, I think it's going to be a very good one. I think there's going to be a lot of fighting again. I think there's going to be a lot of characters either sneaking in or doing different things around the battle.
I'm curious how they're going to... Obviously, we know that there's going to be some stealthiness going in. Arya's going to find a way in. The Hound has some, I feel like, unfinished business with his brother. The Mountain. I feel like that's going to be a battle that's got to happen. I think there's just got to be... Yeah, there's going to be a lot of sub-battles within the big battle.
Cool.
So, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I guess we'll see next week. Should we let everyone know what our next show is going to be that we're going to cover?
Yes, we can. In fact, it airs tomorrow. So on HBO, it's a limited series, Chernobyl. I'm sure you've seen plenty of promos for it. They've been playing them for the past few weeks at least. We're going to tackle that one. We're going to start, I think it's 5 episodes, so we're going to dive deep into that one.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot that I've seen in the trailers, a lot of small actions and little things that really took place that get kind of glossed over on a lot of the other media that's been around for Chernobyl. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how in depth or how true they make it. But I mean, HBO's got a great history with Band of Brothers and all these other limited documentary series that they do. That I'm excited. I think it's gonna be great.
It should be a good one. So that's gonna be the next thing we'll be having on our podcast.
So that's gonna be 3 a week for the next few weeks. So it'll be a tough schedule for us.
Right. Warriors going strong. Game of Thrones is ramping up for the last couple episodes, and now we've got Chernobyl. So
I'm excited for it. Definitely.
Once again, thank you guys for watching and listening. We're at Southport Media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And any little bit that you guys can do to help us out, subscribe, like. We appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we've had a lot of support so far, so we are just going to keep churning stuff out, and let us know if there's anything you guys want to see.
Definitely.
Send us a request or make a comment below, and we'll do what we can.
Yeah. So until next episode.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank
Cheers.
you. Cheers.
Bye.